When I was around 7 years old, I lived on a quiet, dead-end street with a forest behind my house. Our backyard was big, about an acre, so the forest wasn't directly behind us, but it was close enough that on windy nights, I could hear the trees moving. There was also a small tree line in front of the house. Not a full forest, but just enough to make the street feel isolated at night. I lived there with my parents and my 2 siblings. One night, I woke up in the middle of the night for no reason. I didn't have a phone or anything back then, so I couldn't tell what time it was. But I remember everything was completely silent. No crickets, no cars. Just that heavy kind of silence that makes you feel like something's wrong. I stayed in bed for about 10 minutes, just lying there, staring at the ceiling. Then, suddenly, I felt this urge to look out my window. I don't know why, but it was strong, like something wanted me to. At first, I didn't think much of it, but when I finally looked, I froze. There was a woman standing in the street. She was wearing a long, glowing white dress. Her black hair looked wet, hanging over her face, and she was standing directly under one of the 4 streetlights on our street, right in the middle of the light, as if she wanted to be seen. She didn't move. She didn't make a sound, just stood there. I watched her for what felt like 5 minutes, completely frozen. When I finally snapped out of it, I realized my heart was pounding and my whole body was sweating. Then it hit me. She looked exactly like the woman from the Mexican folklore my parents used to tell me about. They said there was a spirit called La Llorona, the weeping woman, a ghost who drowned her children after finding out her husband was unfaithful. She's said to wander near rivers and lakes, crying for the children she lost. And sometimes, she appears to misbehaving kids to scare them. But that night, she wasn't near any body of water. She was right there, in front of my house. When I realized what I might be looking at, I panicked. I shut my curtains and dove under my blankets, shaking. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I couldn't. I kept feeling like someone was still watching me, even through the walls. When morning came, I finally got out of bed and went to the window. The street was empty, but right where she had been standing was a large puddle of water. This was years ago, but sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I still think about it. I recently visited my hometown of Newnan, Georgia, a town with a long history, including an old Civil War hospital. I was walking around downtown, soaking in the familiar streets, when I suddenly felt it. A dark, heavy presence. Painful, almost suffocating. It was right in front of this old house on the strip. I stopped in my tracks. Without even thinking, I said aloud, "Oh, you're haunted, aren't you?" I made a note to my friend about the original wood flooring on the porch, as if acknowledging the house somehow mattered, then continued walking. About 30 minutes later, I returned to my hotel room. While washing up, I noticed something strange, bruises on my arm. I hadn't hit myself, fallen, or carried anything heavy, but the marks looked like small hands had grabbed me. With both hands. Unease settled over me. I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Hoping a shower would calm me, I stepped in, only to hear a loud bang a few minutes later. Peering from behind the curtain, I saw the bathroom door, left wide open, was now completely shut. Then the banging started again, louder, more insistent. The door shook violently, as if someone, or something, was pounding on it. My front door was locked. No one could have gotten in. I flung the bathroom door open. Nothing. No one. But I felt it. A presence, standing somewhere just out of reach. Frustrated, I looked at my arm and said firmly, "Whoever you are not welcome. This is my body that houses my soul. Leave me. Do not stay in this hotel." For a few moments it seemed to help, but the presence lingered. I could feel it standing in the doorway, between the bathroom and the main room. Almost trying to tell me something. Then a random thought struck me. I needed to open the door. I did, and quietly but firmly said, Exit. Immediately, a cold breeze rushed past me, moving from the inside of the room to the outside. The heater was on, but it didn't matter. Just like that, the presence was gone. I haven't felt it since, but I haven't slept well either. And that's why I'm sharing this. Because sometimes, even in places you know so well, the past doesn't stay buried.